G'day patrons, it's Saturday and that can mean just one thing, the balance of the news for the week for you guys. Just 3 things for you today and then 3 for public. That will be on Monday. So let's get straight into this, and a really good one I want to share with you, and I think we should all be sharing it out there, is that The Driven have actually done a really excellent story. I think it's written by a contributor about electric vehicle myths and how they need to be debunked now. So, like things like myth number 1, electric vehicles in whatever name, country, state, wherever the hell you are dirty. And they produce as much carbon dioxide and emissions as a petrol or diesel vehicle. My parents have asked me this, and they've asked me plenty of these questions, and they want reassurance that, yeah, these things are actually okay. So awesome. The next one is that the grid cannot support an increase in electric vehicles, and it's going to need a massive upgrade. Absolute garbage. Can people just understand how much electricity actually goes into fueling petrol and diesel cars? It's a lot of electricity. It can't even be really well known because it's not very well known. I've tried looking, I really have. Next one is that EV batteries can't be recycled, and they don't last very long. And yeah, people just think the mobile phones, the battery in those things degrades very quickly over time, not appreciating the fact that, the EV batteries are actually almost all thermally cooled and managed, and they're not treated in the same way that we treat our poor mobile phones. That is, we leave them on the charge overnight to 100%, and that's not a good way to treat any lithium ion whatever. It doesn't matter whatever you're talking about. The next one that we also need to do is around the EVs. People think that they pollute because of the minerals. So that was a question my parents had this last weekend. They was thinking about, I think it was a cobalt and things like that, and yeah, children exploitation. That's a thing of the past, I damn well hope. There's blockchain technology around this. So yeah, I'm just thinking that this story, I feel I want to rip it off and, steal shamelessly, and I'll plug the story, and I should probably just shoot it because it'd be a fun one to do. The next one, and this myth is actually a reality, is that there's not enough public charging points around. And you know what? If you're on the eastern seaboard of Australia, you're fine. Go inland, you're in trouble. Western Australia, you're in trouble. Central Australia, you get the idea. The adage I like to say to anybody is that I can charge my electric vehicle in millions of places, and that's an exaggeration. In Australia, there's millions of places I can charge my car. This house, if I could run a power lead to my car, not a good idea, but I could, has more than 3 dozen power points. I kid you not. So again, this street, we could all plug in at the same time. We're not going to overwhelm the electricity grid, and we all have plenty of access to charging availability. Next one's going to be around how electric vehicles catch fire a lot. And, no, they do not. And finally, the one that, over a lifetime, an electric vehicle, the manufacturer of it rather, actually consumes way more energy than an internal combustion engine, and the carbon footprint is bad. Again, nothing, bullshit, absolute garbage. Yeah, these are all definitely myths that probably need to be revisited quite regularly to actually pull them right down. Next one is from our friends in Melbourne, actually, SEA or SEA Australia, or SEA Electric rather. Now, they were originally founded in Australia by Australians, but they've recently been sold to like a California company. But we're going to pretend they're still Australian, aren't we? Because that's what we do. Anywho, these guys, they've completed the installation of a 100 kilowatt rooftop solar system. That is like huge. Massive. Most homes have got 5, 6.5, 6.6, don't know why they use that number, kilowatts of solar on people's roofs, and they've got to put 100. Meaning that this facility is powered entirely, it's run entirely on renewable energy. With 250, 400 watt solar panels, this massive rooftop basically means that they're running all the time on renewable clean green energy. So much so, they're exporting energy to the grid, and to date have done more than 24 megawatt hours of electricity. That's like 24,000 kilowatt hours of energy, folks. Very good. And I think, judging from this article, that they've actually exported to the grid more than 90% of the energy to the grid, means that they actually don't need a lot in that plant for some reason. So awesome news, good news, and be lovely to actually get an invite down there one day. But yeah, let me know if you think I should be doing these sort of stories in the public domain, because generally renewable stuff doesn't rate well, so I stopped doing it. People just care about electric cars because they're the solution to everything, aren't they? They're 20% of the problem. Yeah. But the energy, electricity, that's 50% of our problem. So I think we need to cover this, but again, it's just a waste of my time. So I don't do it anymore. All right. And the final story is this, and I would like to hear your thoughts. How would you feel around carrying a little battery as a potential booster for you? Hey? The specs on this, I don't think really worthy of an emergency charge. Basically, you can get 30 kilometers of additional range, best case scenario. So think of it like a jerry can that you carry in your car. That would no doubt be quite heavy. And so that 30 kilometers you could get from it to actually get you a rescue charge is probably then negated by the fact that you're carrying that extra weight around and taking 30 kilometers off your total range anyway. I see this actually as a real good solution for like RACV and roadside assist, people like that, but not for everyday people like you and me, the good old Joe Blows. So yeah, let me know. Put your thoughts down below. I'd like to hear from you. All right, time to go public. So let's get into this one because it's all about Tesla, and that's going to get views and views and views because that's the way it works. Okay, moving on. Tesla plans to open a factory to produce battery manufacturing equipment in the Canadian city of Markham, Ontario. Mayor Frank Scaparati, I think that's how you pronounce it, apologies if I just butchered it because I do that, said that the Tesla, the electric car company, is going to produce in Canada cheaper, high-range batteries of the 4680 type. Brilliant. But dude, Elon, Australia, 9 out of 10 of the minerals that you actually put in the batteries come from here. Yeah, you've got big deals that we don't know about. Well, we know some of them, but most of your lithium and jazz comes from this country. So why not? Why not have a battery plant here? Do I sound desperate? Yeah. Do we want it? Yeah, definitely. Next up, and it's been a while, but let's talk about charging because, look, Tesla has opened its network to non-Tesla owners and also Vicinity centers, I think I'm saying that correctly. They're like a shopping mall conglomerate, and they've announced a strategic partnership with low-carbon energy company ENGIE to deliver electric vehicle fast charging stations in car parks all around Australia. Now, before you go snooze fest and click on fast forward, just hold up for a second. It is exciting because these guys are huge. They are seriously huge. They not only run like shopping malls like Chadstone in Victoria. Sorry, a bit colloquial there for anyone who's not Victorian. They run Chadstone. Not Chatty. Well, we call it Chatty, stuff it. But they also run these places, which are no doubt near you. And in fact, across the entire country of ours, there's more than 60 of them. Awesome, right? So, fun fact, 66% of the Australian population live within 30 minutes of one of Vicinity's shopping malls. 66%. So that's why this story is important. In this deal with ENGIE, up to 30 centres across Vicinity's national portfolio will feature DC fast charging units that draw on renewable energy, key point, to deliver not just more kilometres to EV owners, but also they become customers at these malls whilst their cars are getting filled up. It's a win-win, I say. The deal is actually part of the Australian Renewable Energy Agency's Future Fuels Fund, or FFS. This paper by this dude, who we all love to hate because he doesn't actually do his job. No, he does not. But it's awesome to see that the funds from this are actually going to something that's going to be extremely useful because goodness knows, we need more rapid chargers everywhere in Australia, and this is very welcome news indeed. All right, now segueing over to Tesla, who have actually opened up their charging supercharger network, more than 25,000 worldwide, thank you very much, to non-Tesla owners in the Netherlands. But Australia could be next. Elon, you hear me, bro? All right, here are the details. People like me, because I drive like an MG ZS EV, will be able to access way more superchargers than we currently do in Australia. Yeah, basically there's not a lot. I've already said that, but I need to say it again. Now, because this is just in the Netherlands right now and being tested at just 10 locations, and when Tesla believes there isn't any congestion or wait times at the Supercharger sites, then I will be able to actually go down to one of them. Again, let's just pretend this is Australia. But before I talk more about it, perhaps actually let's go down to a Supercharger and I'll give you a bit more context. That will definitely help. Let's go. Okay, that was fun, wasn't it? To use a supercharger, your non-Tesla EV drivers like moi will need to download and create an account via the Tesla app, and it's got to be version 4.2.3 or higher. This trial is only currently open at these sites. And for my international viewers who are thinking, hey, I actually live nearby, maybe I live in the UK or in, I don't know, Belgium or a neighboring place to it. You can't actually go use them. It's only open to people in the Netherlands at the moment in this trial form. When it does come to Australia, and again, remember it's got to be on version 4.2 or 3, watch this. You select charge your non-Tesla and find your supercharger site. You add your payment method if you haven't already. Plug in your car, select which stall you're at. So just check the numbering that's actually on it. Click on start charging, and then when you're all said and done, click stop charging, and that will complete your charging session. Pricing is supposedly really good, and if you don't join the monthly debit program, that's like a opt-in or opt-out subscription that decreases the price from 57 euro cents per kilowatt hour down to 24 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's just like 37 cents Australian per kilowatt hour equivalent. So that's actually really competitive. And for those who already actually own Teslas, your pricing stays the same, and the way you interact with the supercharger rather, also stays the same. So you just plug in, charge, and then walk away, and then it's a breeze. That's why Teslas are so awesome. The additional cost here that's going to be borne by people who don't own Teslas is to support, basically Tesla's got to integrate and allow this for a broad range of vehicles, and also make some potential adjustments to the sites, like what I demonstrated in that little piece I just did back then. And that also, this is interesting little point, rates vary by site. So before you head to one of these 10 locations, you might actually want to check first that you can use it, that it's available and open to you, and then see what the charging prices are within the Tesla app. In this screen grab, you can see that idle fees are a very healthy one at €1 per minute. That's like $1.56 per minute, which is awesome because public service done. And CDV, I feel your pain, brother. I really do. I really hate people who are basically EV holes or ice holes. You know who you are. Charge, move, go. All right, moving on. Wrapping this segment up. I can't wait for this to come to Australia. I really can't. We've got like a massive country, and there's not a lot of chargers relative to it. So by adding a dozen more sites with thanks to Tesla is a good thing. Now, if you are a Tesla owner, I would be curious to hear your thoughts. It should be known that Tesla drivers will continue to use these stations as per usual. They're going to be monitoring for congestion and ensuring that it's actually available to Tesla drivers when they want it. So great for holidays and things like that in times of peak use. Think Richmond Supercharger. That place is always busy. You can never really get charging there when you just rock up. There's always going to be a little queue. But the other thing here is that the way in which Tesla owners interact with the supercharger network doesn't change either, nor does it cost for them. So good move, Tesla. And also another good move, I forgot to say this, is that they're going to be getting feedback from Tesla customers, because let's face it, every Tesla that you buy integrated into the price of that car is a little bit of money that goes towards a supercharger somewhere. So this next step for Tesla actually fits very nicely into their mission. And in their own words, it's been Tesla's ambition to open a supercharger network to non-Tesla EV owners. And by doing so, it's going to encourage more into electric. And the motto, accelerate the world and its transition to sustainable energy. And then look, there's also the other benefit here is that by having an account with Tesla, they obviously then know who you are and can market to you. But those Tesla owners, when they drive up and they pull up and they plug in, they're going to watch those other Tesla owners on how easy it is for them to actually just use the system. It's going to be a brilliant advert. It's going to actually entice customers to the Tesla stable. It really will. And another benefit is that those non-Tesla owners are going to be helping to pay for obviously the energy they use, but also for future supercharger locations. So brilliant all round. I think it's a win-win for everybody. Staying with Tesla, they've quietly added a larger battery to the Model 3, increasing its range from 448 kilometers to 491 clicks. That's like a 10% jump, which, if you understand how WLTP works, by the way, you need to then subtract like 20% of that figure to give you like a real world range of easily just over 400 kilometers, no fast driving, 110 kilometers down the freeway, air conditioner on, hot, windy, wet day, you name it, it's no fast driving when you work to the American EPA method, which, by the way, can't we all just sort of use for range with electric vehicles? That would be great. Anyhow, this range bump comes at no additional expense to people who are buying Teslas in Australia right now, and was kindly spotted by Veta Prime. The link is below, and they did a bit of sleuthing to confirm this fact. And so if you actually own a Tesla Model 3 and you purchased it, or got it rather, mid-October, can you check now to see how far your car will go when it's fully charged to 100%? If it's more than 450 kilometers when fully charged, you've got the new, larger battery pack. And for those with the long range model, the potential range might say now 614 kilometers. That's up from 580. Again, thanks to that 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, which has been bumped by 7 kilowatt hours. Meanwhile, for my American friends, I can see and I can hear your pain that Tesla over there has actually increased prices yet again on Model 3, Ys, and well, basically everything. Okay, man, they've done that a lot this year, haven't they? Now, the pessimistic Chris believes that whilst, chip shortage and shipping difficulties have been a thing for all car makers, Tesla as well, because the technology company, I've got to say, my feeling is that actually they're doing this in response to your incentive programs. You know, the government federal stuff, and then you've got state stuff. You've got so many awesome electric vehicle incentive programs that actually pay you cash to decrease the sticker price of that car. And look, we've seen a similar thing out here with private health insurance, which I'm not going to delve into today, but basically the government offered up 30% back to you as a customer if you took out private health cover. So what do you think the private health companies did? They increased prices, didn't they? And I think this is what Tesla's doing, because in Australia, we've actually seen price decreases over here. Yeah, not increases. So sorry to my American friends, and hope you're all well over there. And finally, an update to my and Kath's claim in the High Court of Australia against these guys, and how we will argue that the state cannot charge the world's worst EV tax. For those new to the channel, a quick primer. We are arguing that the state of Victoria lacks the constitutional authority to impose a tax on EV owners. The basis of this claim is Section 90 of the Commonwealth Constitution, which we will argue reserves the exclusive power to levy such a charge at Commonwealth level. We filed with the Melbourne Registry of the High Court of Australia on the 16th of September, so check out this video for more information on exactly the why, where, and why sort of stuff. And orders were made by the court on 19th of October 2021, setting out the timetable for how things will proceed moving forward. What this now means is that the legal teams from both sides and the High Court of Australia have agreed on a set of what they call consent orders. That's basically like legalese for a written agreement that is approved by a court to govern the timeline for proceedings. Those things have now been agreed to, like by both parties, and endorsed by the court. Okay, so that's what that basically means. Of interest, the defendant, that's like the state of Victoria, they will file a written defence by the 12th of November. Like, that's around the corner, isn't it? And my lawyers will then have a week to respond by filing a reply to the defence. Now, David and Jack, they're the equity generation lawyers representing myself and Kath. They will then draft what is called a special case, which is basically a summary of the factual and legal issues that the court would need to come to a conclusion on during these whole proceedings. We hope that the argument with the defendant will be reached by early February, February 9 to be precise. And that if there's a failure to agree on the special case, then both parties will actually need to make further written legal agreements to the court to aid in its determination of next steps. Now, I've left a link to this posting by the High Court of Australia below, and I want to say to those people who have actually already contributed, it's 582 of you out there, thank you so much. More than $40,000 has been raised for our legal fund, and I can't ask you to do more, but if you can, share this story. If you haven't contributed already, please do follow the link down below. We're going through Chuffed, and it'll be awesome that this gets successful, because you know what? This doesn't only affect Victorians, it affects everyone in Australia and in fact around the world. Many countries are observing what's going on here, and they're going to be looking to what the Victorian state government has done around this road tax, that you basically tax 2 or 2.5 cents per kilometre driven for doing something that is actually better for your health, better for the environment, better for communities. And what do? They go and slog us with a tax that is just dumb on so many levels. I could do a big rant, but I won't. Again, go check out this video, and I'll keep you updated as per usual on this channel as things come to light. Okay, well that'll do it for today's episode, and if you watched to now, thank you so much, I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, do consider subscribing, or if you want to see more content like this more often, consider joining me over here on Patreon, where you get all this, including news, polls, behind the scenes, and a lot more that I just can't show you here on YouTube. And I'd like to say a big thank you to not only just, all my patrons, they're awesome people, they really are, but also my producers, Adam Tyson, Alan Byrne, Ashley Hill, Bruce Hall, Chaotic Media Technology, David Lynham, MNICT Specialist, Nigel Farrier, and Tessa in the Golem. And as per usual, you be good and you be green.